Hey guys, I'm Matt Hernandez, and today I'm going to show you how to shoot two different styles with the same setup. Okay, so we're taking senior pictures for a cheerleader. We're at the football field. It's in the middle of the day, so it's super bright. One thing that I do a lot that people seem to like, and I'm kind of known for honestly, is underexposing the background, especially in the middle of the day like this, and making it look like it's either nighttime or definitely not at noon, which it actually is. And to do that, you've got to expose your background first, get it darker, then turn your light on afterwards and adjust the power. So it's really not as hard as people make it seem. But one thing I've noticed too is, even though people love that look, it's also good for them to have options too. So one way you can do that while minimizing the time you have to shoot is you can change the style that you shoot in with the same setup. And what I mean by that is, so we can get the background nice and dark, and then we can open it up and make it look light and airy too at the same time. Not two different pictures obviously, but we can do one set one way and then switch. All we got to do is change our settings just a little bit and then lower the power of our light, and it'll give the photo a completely different look. So right now I've got a Sony a7R5, a 7200, and I have a Polar Pro 6-stop neutral density filter, and I've got it turned all the way up to 6. Well, I'm going back and forth between 5 and 6 stops because it's so bright, and the sun's going in and out of the clouds. So depending on what it's doing, I'm changing my ND filter's power to 5 or 6 stops. So that's going to cut, that's like lenses, so that's like sunglasses for your camera. So it's going to darken it by 5 or 6 stops, what your settings would normally be, so you don't have to use high-speed sync. Normally I would use high-speed sync if I was shooting an athlete that was moving in order to freeze the action, but because we're not freezing any action, you get a cleaner frame and you get more power out of your light whenever you don't have to use high-speed sync. So that's why I'm using the ND filter today. Okay, so we're going to shoot that first style first that I'm more known for, where I'm going to darken the background. So the way that you can do this easily is take the ND filter off, and you're going to expose for the background first to get it nice and dark how you want it. I'm going to put my strobe to sleep. I've got an FJ400 with a Manny Ortiz beauty dish with silver interior, and we have the diffusion on. So I'm going to put this to sleep. And then, so I've got my camera set so that it's giving me a preview of what the exposure looks like. So we're at 1/250th f2.8 ISO 100, so it's obviously too bright. So I'm going to raise this. Actually, I'm going to take my remote off because I have to turn high-speed sync on in order to adjust it to go past my sync speed. We're at 1/250th, so I'm going to count the times I move my shutter button here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, until it gets dark enough. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm all the way up to 1/8,000th of a second, which is the highest the camera can go. And because I want to be 2.8, I want to be at 2.8, so I get a shallow depth of field. I've got the stadium lights on in the background. I want to blur those out, blur out the background completely, the clouds and everything. So I want to shoot shallow. In order to do that, we've got to be at 1/8,000th of a second. So, okay, so now that was 6 stops. So every three times you click the wheel is 1/3 of a stop, and I did that a total of, I guess, 18 times. So that's 6 stops. So now we're going to put on our ND filter. So I actually had to go up to f4 to get 6 full stops there. Okay. So now when I go back down to 1/250th f2.8, it should look the same. Now there's going to be a color cast because that's what ND filters are going to give you, a color cast, but that's just part of it. I think it looks kind of cool, honestly. This one has a good one. Some of them don't, but this one definitely does. Okay. All right, so we've got our exposure set now. So now we can take a few shots like this, and then we can basically lower it down however many stops we want, and then turn the light down that same amount of stops. So we'll brighten up the background, then lower the light down to match, and that'll give us a totally different look. Okay, so camera, you want to go ahead and come in? All right, so I'm gonna lean her up against the rail. I'm gonna shoot down the rail so it gets some foreground interest too. So this is blurred out since I'm at 2.8. So we'll just have her prop her arm up and then put her hand on her hip, maybe cross her foot. You wanna cross your inside foot up back like that, like put your toe down into the ground. Yeah, there you go, good. Okay, so I'm gonna try to compose this a couple different ways so I get the light. This might be too far to not get the light, so I'm gonna scoot over and take some too. So I got a couple options here. Okay, all right, ready? Oop, light's asleep. All right, here we go, ready? Scoot back just a little bit. There you go. All right, so I'm gonna have to go down to 5 because she's on my ND filter because she's a little bit too far back. But we had to put the light down beside the ramp, so that's why. Okay, all right, now we're good. There we go, good. Turn your head this way just a little bit, like this way. There you go, good. Good, don't move, stay right there. Do a small smile now with no teeth. And do one with your hand up on your hip too, your outside hand. There you go, good. Do one over here too. Good. All right, those look good. Okay. All right, so we got the background nice and dark. She's exposed right. So now let's go down to 3 stops. So we're gonna go down 2 entire stops. So that means we need to lower the light power 2 stops. So I was at 9 out of 9, now I'm gonna go to 7 out of 9. Take a test shot real quick, okay? We may need to go down 1 more. So since I can't go down to my ND filter, I'm gonna raise my ISO 1 stop. 1, 2, 3, to make it brighter to 200, and then I can go down on my FJ 400 to 6. So now I'll just take the same shots again, and I'm gonna scoot back a little bit too, just so I can compress the shot a little bit more to make it look even more different. But it should open up the background quite a bit. Okay. All right, ready? So you can just do the same pose again if you want. There we go. All right, ready? That's good. Do that small smile with no teeth again for a couple. Horizontal. There you go. Good. Go hand on hip. Give me one big smile with teeth. There you go, good. Perfect, all right. So, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. So we've got one where the background's opened up a lot, pretty bright in the back, and that opens up the shadows too, makes it look less dramatic. And then we've got one where the background's really underexposed. That's gonna also give you darker shadows on the subject's face too. But it also looks cool because of the background, because it makes it look like it's nighttime sometimes whenever it's the middle of the day. So 2 different looks, same setup. Really isn't that hard. It also helps you maximize your shoot so you can go faster and give them a lot of options, because clients always love options. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it. I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notified when I post new content. There's gonna be a lot more to come.